Hello, my name is Matilius258. Welcome to Fractured Space. This is a review for the USR Sniper. Now, the Sniper is the long-range weapons platform of the USR tech tree. At the moment, it is in the second line. It only costs 5,000 XP to unlock and 36,000 credits to actually purchase. Now, the Sniper is two things. Actually, it's three things. First thing is it has amazing damage potential. It is a very, very valuable ship. The second thing is it absolutely sucks when it starts getting shot at. It can shoot, it cannot be shot at. Number three, it is actually one of my favorite ships because it suits my playstyle, but that is beside the point. So, other things, especially of importance to note, is quite simply, it's a specialized ship. It's just designed to do long-range bombardments of big enemy targets. It's designed to hit hard and accurately. I hesitate to use accurately because it's only as good as the person using it, but still. And from this, it's the big ships that this thing exceeds at killing. Flagships, destroyers, carriers, big ships, corvettes, surprisingly enough. Big ships are really easy to kill with this thing. It takes a while, but that's what it's good for. It's good through that health. Plus, since you can keep them at range, because you're a sniper, they can't do damage to you. For the flagship, especially. For the destroyer, to a certain extent. For the carrier, it takes too long for that thing to fire anyways. And those are just a few examples. So other things. Now the sniper, for its three main stats, its attack, its defense, and utility, the attack is 9, and that is completely fitting and true to its actual nature. The sniper does lots of damage. Now, as to defense, the defense is higher than it actually is. It is not 6. That is a complete and utter lie. If anything, I would say the defense is more like a 4. I'm not sure what the scale is, but I don't know why. I'm just going to say it'd make more sense that it'd be a 4. That number is inflated artificially due to a false hope from one of the things that the sniper gets, which I will go over when I'm looking at it more in depth. The utility makes sense, 5, because its only utility really is its marked targetability, and more or less that's about it. So, yeah. Max speed of 430 meters per second, base hull strength of 6,000. This thing cannot get hit without taking a large amount of damage. Even insignificant damage to another ship is really bad for this thing. So, now that we have all the basics for it, let's look at the things you can get on the USR Sniper. For the main batteries, you have a choice of 2. The first one is the railgun. Now the railgun fires a projectile really, really fast at long ranges. Basic. Its maximum range is 30,000 meters. Its optimal range is 25,000 meters, but that really doesn't mean anything. And the projectile speed is 40,000 meters. What this means is that the maximum range, being less than the projectile speed, means that anywhere you are pointing your gun, that is where that shot will go in less than a second. Which means it's basically look, point, click, and that's it. And it will find its target. So it's very easy to use. It's very, very simple, basically. Its fire rate is based on 2 things. First is the base cooldown, as with every other gun. It takes 2 seconds to cool down. However, on top of that, it has a fire delay. This is kind of like its charge-up time, 0.5 seconds. What this means is that the rate of fire is actually more or less 2.5 seconds. However, the damage of 410 health points is actually very nice. It's consistent, it's very fast firing, it's a very nice gun. However, as I was going on about the sniper, it has only 6,000 health, which means the maximum range of 30,000 meters is a little too close for comfort when playing in the sniper, because since you are the sniper, you are a targeted vehicle, which means people want to shoot you. So, a little more extra distance is a little bit nicer. And that's where the next gun comes in. The long-range cannon, or the charge cannon. The long-range cannon has a maximum range of 50,000 meters. So basically the entire lane. So the A lane, or the B lane, or G even. Its optimal range is 35, but that's just so you can get the most accuracy out of it. And its projectile speed is 30,000 meters per second. What this means is you have to lead shots now. You didn't have to do that with the railgun, but now you do with the long-range cannon. Kind of a trade-off between the two. However, that extra range you get keeps you safe, unlike with the railgun. So let's see. Base damage is 240 health points. Now you might be thinking, why would I want to switch? Well, that's easy. It has a charge time. After 6 seconds of charging, when you're in sniper mode, it does a charged damage of 1200 health points. So, in other words, you're doing a lot more damage with each shot. It's an alpha damage kind of thing. However, this also means that due to the maximum charge time of 6 seconds, plus the base cooldown of 3 seconds, you actually have a total charge time of about 9 seconds if you wish to go to the full amount of charge every shot. You don't have to, but you probably want to, depending on the circumstances. However, you also have to calculate distance of the actual thing you're shooting. So you actually have to take about like a second to actually lead the shot a little bit. So it's more or less, if you're doing a full charge, 10 seconds per shot. However, I will say this, just because it says maximum charge time is 6 seconds, does not mean you actually have to wait 6 seconds to fire the gun. After about 1 or 2 seconds, you can fire the gun every 5 seconds instead of every 10 seconds. However, you'll be doing less damage. Instead of 240 damage to... Wait, no, sorry. Instead of doing the full amount, which is 12, then you'll instead be doing around 300 to 500, depending on the circumstances and depending on what you're shooting too, which allows a little bit of a higher rate of fire. Other than that, I'm going to say, if you're going to go with anything, go with the long-range cannon, because since the sniper has such low health, staying at these distances is a very, very good idea. No, that's not right. It's not a good idea. It's required of you. If you start getting shot, you've done something wrong. So, yeah. Now, however, and there should be a little window showing up, the sniper has a limited ring of engagement. Because of this, you can't actually fire in the 360 by 360 degree view, such as you can on the flagship, or the brawler, or the disruptor, or the assassin. I'm just reading down the list. What this basically means is that the gun only traverses left and right so much, and then after that it only elevates and depresses the gun by 25 degrees. So you can't, if something is on top of you, you can't really shoot back. If they get behind you, you're not going to be able to shoot them at all. And this isn't necessarily a problem all the time, but every once in a while it does become a problem. Next thing, this is where the utility at 5 comes in, because there's mainly just one utility of the entire sniper, and that is the Mark Target ability. Now, Mark Target is the sniper's way of making the damage potential of its gun, be it railgun or long-range cannon, more deadly, basically. It increases the damage by 30% on paper, but more or less in practice it's 50 to 100%. The duration's only 5 seconds, so that's just enough time for you to be able to get one full charged shot, pre-charged by the way, to your opponent, let it do its damage, lead the shot again, and fire preemptively before letting it do a full charge. It doesn't do as much, it does quite a bit of damage, and it does allow you to kind of go into a rapid fire mode with your long range cannon, but I'll go into that in a minute. Other than that, it is the best thing on the sniper minus its gun. It increases your damage, it gives the level 9 attack its actual justification, and it's the only utility on the sniper you should ever concern yourself with. For anybody who's being shot by a sniper, if you have been marked, and they have a long-range cannon, you're about to lose a lot of health. Just, you've been marked, basically. Next is the shield. The shield. Okay, you know how I was going on about how the base stat says the defense is 6? This is that artificial inflation right here. The shield is useless. It is the most ridiculous, absolutely redundant ability of the sniper. It does not save you at all. There's only one circumstance where the shield is actually useful, and then it only just leaves you as a crippled hull floating through space, just waiting for somebody to just brush on you. And okay, I'll explain why. First off, the damage reduction is 75%. To the naked eye, that seems like a perfect amount. 75%. That's 3/4 of any damage that's incoming to you. However, 75% damage reduction on the sniper doesn't mean the same thing as 75% damage reduction on the flagship. The sniper has pretty much no armor, no health whatsoever. That 75% means nothing. You're going to take a hit, and it is going to hurt, no matter what you do. The second problem, the duration is only 5 seconds. The shield doesn't last long enough for it to be of any practical significance. It doesn't allow you to get away. It doesn't allow you to jump out. It doesn't more or less allow you to do any extra damage at all either. Because if you're doing like long-range cannon fire, your cooldown for your gun is actually really long at close range especially. That 5 seconds means nothing. You'll get maybe 1 shot, maybe 2 shots if you're like at the first second and the last second of the shield, but you're basically not going to be able to do anything. Third problem. The base cooldown is 40 seconds. There is no warranting at all for why that should be so long. If the damage reduction was 75% for 5 seconds, at maybe like 15 to 20 seconds, it would make sense. However, the shield just does not cut it. If the damage reduction was at like 100% for like 10 seconds, for a 40 second or even a 50 second base cooldown, that'd make perfect sense. That would basically make you invulnerable for 10 seconds. That is 1 shot from the long-range cannon. About 4 shots from the railgun. That still will not kill your enemy at all. It also gives you the ability to jump out. Because you're invulnerable, it lets you survive. Having 75% does not help you. However, there is one thing I will have to admit about the shield. There's one area which actually is helpful, but it's only if you are really, really good with your reflexes and you understand that there is the possibility, or you're conscious of the possibility, that you're about to be ambushed by an assassin. As we all know, the assassin cloaks, jumps towards you, ambushes you with its ability, and then throws its payload at you, doing usually about 8,000 damage with the heavy rocket modification. About 5,000 with its plasma, but with plasma damage over time. Either way, that is a one-shot kill on your ship. So, the problem with this is, 1, assassins love to kill you, but 2nd, the damage reduction is only helpful in this situation. If you are fast enough on the trigger to hit, I believe it's 2, to throw up your shield again, then you're able to pretty much reduce the damage enough so that you don't die instantly. But you're not really in a very good position either. It only lasts 5 seconds, so you don't have enough time to jump out either. So that basically leaves you in the position of, you're right next to an assassin. You just have to wait for him to reload. Shoot just a few of his rockets, just at least 2 of which need to hit you, and you will be dead. So that's what I was going on about. It can save you, but it will leave you a crippled wreck. I hate the shield. It's the most useless. It's not useless. It does have a use in a very specific case. But other than that, it just does not fit the sniper. You don't have enough health to warrant a 75 for only 5 seconds. You just don't reduce the damage enough. Even the frigate gets a shield that does 100% reduction. It has to be aimed, yes, but it still does 100. Okay. Moving on. Missiles. The missiles fire from the top and the bottom of the ship. They do 30 damage per shot for each volley. It's 16 missiles as a cooldown of 20 seconds. It's your standard fare of supplemental missile systems. It's definitely something... It's definitely useful, and it definitely has its applications. I personally have used them to actually kill ships. I have seen other snipers using them to kill ships, mainly because missiles can fire in that 360 by 360 degree firing arc. But yet again, missiles are supplemental. Also, their range reflects also kind of a area of where you might want to be considering retreating. Next, spotter drones. Spotter drones. Spotter drones for the sniper are unlike spotter drones for any other ship, like the Hunter, for example. Spotter drones on the sniper are actually useful, and it's for a simple reason, actually. Spotter drones keep things spotted, and if you're a sniper trying to track a target, then it helps you to be able to be where they're going to be before they're even there. And that's where its practical application for a spotter drone comes in. This especially works for big ships going behind big asteroids. You can't see them anymore. For any other normal ship, they would have dropped off and they would have no idea where they're coming from. But with a spotter drone, you know, so it's good. If it's on a Hunter, for example, then as soon as he does his little micro jump thing, you instantly know his relative location of where he is. And in the case of the long-range cannon, you don't have to come out of sniper view and sacrifice your charge up. You can just simply scroll your screen over and zoom out a little bit, and then find him, zoom in again, and actually fire your fully charged shot. You don't have to find him again, wait 6 seconds, mark the target, and then fire the shot. Other ships that's useful is just anything that's trying to flank around in the map, so really fast ships. Looking on the list real quick, the Disruptor, for example. It's just good to keep track of ships and to just be prepared. And of course the last one is the engine, which again 430 meters per second. However, you're a sniper, you won't be needing it very much. You'll just be needing it to get into position. So that's basically the basic. Those are the base stats of the sniper. It has a great damage potential, and it absolutely sucks when it comes to being shot at. On top of that, there are some things that you might want to know about before you take this into any kind of battle. First off, learn what that firing arc is. It can kill you if you don't know what it is. Second, retreat in a sniper is a good idea. A lot of people... No, not a lot of people. Even I have said this. Do not retreat depending on the circumstances. Like, if you're in the flagship in the middle of a brawl, do not retreat by clicking jump home and just instantly sacrificing your ship. Stay there and do as much damage as possible. Or if you're in something like a brawler, or if you're in the enforcer, or something that does a lot of damage, the carrier even, then I'm going to say stay, do as much damage as you can. If you can't get away by just driving, then just stay and fight. If you're going to try and run, you're going to die, and I'm going to lose respect for you. And so is the rest of your team. However, for the sniper, it's a different story. Because the sniper is designed not to be shot at, I'm going to say you have the right to run in the sniper. If it gets at close range, it becomes the most useless ship in the game. So you can't fight back, you can't run necessarily because you're already being attacked. And you're a sniper. You do a ridiculous amount of damage. You just hurt the enemy team before they even have a shot on any of your friends. That is how annoying this thing is for the enemy team. So you're a target. You're a priority. If somebody can see a sniper and they're within range of that sniper, they are going to shoot that sniper. And if you are that sniper, they're going to be shooting you. Isn't that just lovely? So when they're in that like sort of range, I'm doing this from the long range cannon kind of standpoint. If they get within that 20 kilometer range, you can start using your missiles. At that point, I would say you need to like look at your situation. Do I have friends? Yes. Do I have enough friends to kill the enemy? Yes. Should I stay? Well, the first two were a yes. Maybe I should stay. I will help out my friends. Once it gets kind of like towards about 15,000 meters towards you, going on 10,000, you're the only guy there, or it looks like he's kind of just tunnel visioning at you, then it's a good time to start running. That's when I would say hit the home button, use your shields just because they help a little bit, and get as much damage as you can while you're spinning up, missiles when you can, and just get out. Leave your friends to take care of them, or come back with reinforcements. This is probably the only ship I will ever say retreat in, because it's the only ship I want to say that actually deserves a retreat to it. Because you can do so much damage, the time it takes you to respawn sometimes is far more devastating than you just jumping out, jumping back in, repairing for like 30 seconds, and then coming back out. That minute that it takes you to respawn normally, that's a little more devastating. Next. When using the short-range cannon, when you're using the railgun, you need to stay with friends and kind of provide a medium-range support. You're not necessarily playing like a sniper, but you're not necessarily playing like a front runner. You're playing as kind of just mid-range DPS support. So play it like that. If you're starting to get shot at, retreat just a little bit. If you're the last one standing, well, you failed your team and your team's kind of dead, so doesn't matter anymore. Other than that, if you're using the long-range cannon, stay at the back, kind of where you spawn in. If you're kind of around your base, you're in the right place. After that, when you're using the long-range cannon, depending on which one suits your best, there's two ways you can use the firing mechanics of the long-range cannon. The first one is waiting for every single shot to recharge, so you do that usual 10 seconds per shot. That's one way to do it. The second way to do it, due to that 20-second recharge rate, do that 20-second cooldown of the marked target, you can use the marked target first with a fully charged shot, and then after that kind of go machine gun, using it with this minimal amount possible of charge that the cannon requires to be used. This allows you to kind of go back into the role of big alpha damage and then retreating back to the old railgun, just with extra range and a lead time. Which is nice, just slightly slower than the railgun. That's the other way to do it, but other than that, it's just personal preference. I change depending on the situation. Whatever floats your boat. Alright, so I'm about to just display a video of a game I played. Now, I'm going to say this before I start. First off, this was the second video I recorded. This one is actually significantly shorter than the first one I recorded, and unfortunately does not have what I did have in the first video. The first video I had was a really long game. It was an hour long. I was going to shorten the video by speeding up footage, jumping to important parts, and explaining from then. However, due to my computer messing up, that didn't happen. So I only have my shorter one, and I kind of have to analyze the hell out of it, because the first one had pretty much every situation I could possibly imagine in the sniper in it. And I could literally just go through my memory right now and just point out every point where it's important. The second one, not so much, but it shows most of it, at least. And it might be shorter, and it is one-sided, but it still gets the point across. I will also like to say, because this really annoys me, the game that was an hour long, both sides were pretty much the perfect matchup for a sniper you could ever imagine. The perfect matchup for a sniper is the other team having a bunch of really big ships. I'm talking flagships, I'm talking to carriers, I'm talking destroyers. And a corvette, because they're just fun to kill in these things. And why is that? Well, it's quite simple. It's really easy to apply the full amount of damage potential that the sniper has on these really big targets. You can take out, if the circumstances are great, a quarter to a third of their health in one shot. And in that matchup, it was an amazing game. We were both equally matched, and it was great. I managed to do a ridiculous amount of damage using this thing properly. The other team constantly tried to kill me because I was one of the primary targets, being a sniper, doing so much damage. What this also meant was that I killed a lot of things, which racked up to my personal record of 24. So, shameless bragging aside, it just goes to demonstrate just how good the damage potential is on this thing. So, with that out of the way, showing the video where I'm going to show you the video that's shorter and analyze everything possible. Alright, so game start, I moved over to Alpha 1. I always move over to Alpha 1 because it just has the straightest shots, it's very clear, it's very open. And due to the matchup, it was 2 snipers on my team, a bunch of small small ships, very fast ships, and quite a bit of kind of the same on the other side at the beginning of the match too. So it's me and the sniper in Alpha, both of us, which I found was strange. I was constantly considering what to do. And at the start of the match, I usually just move over to the closest one and zoom in as far as possible to figure out what kind of ships there are on the other team in this sector. Also, I really hope you saw that, but that was a blind shot, doing about 800 damage. Just wanted to point that out. It's just a little corvette, but so far that seems to be the only thing that's on this side, and it was really strange because at the beginning of this match, the snipers started capping, which is usually something you never want to do. But hey, it worked, so I can't complain. However, I did go on about corvettes earlier, how the best things for a sniper to shoot are big ships and corvettes. So basically the big ships and their supporting. And the reason for that simply is that corvettes are actually really, really weak. They just don't have a lot of health. So it's really easy to kill them. What this also means is that they're kind of fun to kill. So for the rest of this video, I'm going to make a small counter for how many corvettes I kill. Why? Because it's fun, and I kill a lot of corvettes. So a little bit further, we're capping the point, and I get my first Corvette kill. Point. So really nothing happens for a while after this, so I believe I'm just going to skip over to a point where something actually happens. Alright, so I decided to move over into B because my friends were doing bad. So usually the first thing before you jump in a sniper is get into your sniper mode, and this is using the long range cannon, start charging your shot. Now, this is the worst situation you can possibly get in the sniper. A whole lot of small ships at close range at the top of the map. This is because, one, of that depression for your gun. It's not very good. Second, because they're so fast, they're really hard to hit, and because they're actually really close, it gets harder with the long-range cannon. Not so much with the railgun, but still pretty difficult. However, I'm still trying to do what I can, and I do quite a bit of fair amount of damage, and I also saw that the other sniper joined us too. So it's right about here where I get to display just how that depression doesn't work. Did you miss it? Right there, my gun could just not go high enough, so I missed the shot on this hunter. And that actually does happen quite a bit, because you just always get things that will eventually just go high and you just can't point your gun up anymore. Again, I keep coming back to this flagship because they're the easiest things to shoot in a sniper. Because look there, I was doing 3,000 damage with one shot. Now, under perfect circumstances, your shot usually strips the armor off from one of the sides with its first shot, so everything after that does more. But just watch how cool this shot looks. You can't get away. Okay, sorry. But yet you usually strip away the armor from the flagships as you go along, so you don't have to worry too much about their armor negating your damage, because eventually it's your first shot that takes them down. So you don't have to worry so much, so your second return shot usually kills them. That's not true. By the way, second Corvette. What was I going on about? Oh, right, yes. Your gun gets those bonuses because the armor's been stripped off and all that. And that's what I was going on about, how your gun actually does more damage than is purported. And it's these wonderful combinations that just allow you to do more damage. So I was doing 3,000 damage. Technically, that should technically be impossible. Yet, because his arm was stripped at that point, I had marked target on him, I was doing 3,000. That's 12,000 plus 30% of 12,000 is not 3,000. So that's just a proof of concept. Anyway, I moved back to A because more open space and all that. But also, a lot of enemies started coming over here, and I thought it was important for me to start protecting it. See, right there. On that Corvette, the first shot stripped its frontal armor. So now I will do more damage every time I shoot him on the front. Again, shooting that flagship. See, this is why it's easy to kill Corvettes in the sniper. They just don't have they just don't have much health in them, and it doesn't take much to kill them. It takes a few shots, yes, but everything takes a few shots to kill. So, it's soon about this point where I realize, oh, I'm just the only guy here and I need to defend the line. Everybody else is capping G, so that was nice. But here's an example of where the drones are useful. This is a hunter. And as we all know, hunters like to jump. And you lose track of a hunter because they just jump off and you just technically don't have a visual on them. But with the spotter drones, you have visual on them again. So you don't have to think about where they go. However, this guy got kind of stuck. Also, yes, I did just kill a Corvette. Give me another ding. Thank you. You jump, but he's still on my map. So I don't technically need to zoom out, except I found something else, which was strange. Ninja flagship, because why not? I have no idea how he got there. I have no idea how I didn't see him beforehand, but hey. That hunter actually disappeared. I could not find him for a very long time. However, the other sniper did eventually appear, or he does eventually appear later, and he actually finds him. Now, my spotter drones technically are still spotting him. It's just I needed to zoom out. See, he blinked on my map again. I bet you missed it, but he is still there, and my drones were still spotting him. It's just you don't have him spotted on the map necessarily. You have a red outline. Also, here's a point where those missiles come in handy. See, neither me or the other guy and the other sniper can hit him. They're just not within our firing arc. So we resort instead to using our missiles, which actually do work, so that's nice. See, they might be a supplemental system, but they still do quite a bit of damage if you know how to use them right and win. Of course, we were just both spamming missiles, trying to do as much damage as possible. But, hey. Again, it's at this point where I decide to move over to the other side of the map. Nothing really happens for a while now. Alright, so now here's an example using a frigate, because frigates. Why short range is absolutely or nearly impossible for small ships when using the sniper. And I'm not talking about just because this guy's got a shield and stuff. This is pretty much every small, fast ship. See, this is what I was going on about how this thing just dies when you get near it. Now, I bet you didn't notice, but I did use my shield. Yep, I thought so. Nobody noticed. I used my shield in that situation. It did not last nearly as long. It did not help me whatsoever. Of course, that was actually bad play on me. As soon as I had seen that frigate at such a close range, I probably should have run, but I'm doing this video for tutorial purposes, therefore I need to sacrifice myself. Not that I necessarily like it. So I'm hesitating at the base right now because I'm thinking they have B1, so somebody's going to appear, and of course somebody does appear. And of course it is a frigate, so yay. So I was actually, I believe, quite lucky because the other sniper got taken down too, so the frigate concentrates on my allied cannon fodder, which is nice. So he gets kind of distracted while both of us combine our arms and eventually try to take him down. See, this is how hard it is to hit something at close range with this gun. It's just not possible. However, this is where those missiles come in handy. Oh, the poor Corvettes. You know what, I've lost track counting myself, so I'm just going to have the little dinger ding Now, this is where a stupid idea comes in. I decide to solo B-line, because why not? And it does work, actually. However, there is one thing that you need to realize when you're actually using the sniper. You cannot solo points, necessarily. You can do it with help, but you can't do it just by yourself. Usually if you solo something, you die in the sniper. You just don't live long enough to be able to properly do it. And it's from this that the confidence that new players with the sniper have, just being able to do, excuse me, by being able to do so much damage sometimes, that they think, oh, I can do, if I'm in the right circumstances, 12,000 damage in one shot, which you can do, by the way. Of course I can be able to just one-shot whatever's there and just recap the circle. Okay, congratulations, you have one-shotted nothing. And now that Enforcer is kind of just getting closer to you. What was your plan after that? And that's where the problem comes in, because you don't think that far ahead sometimes when you're a new player, but in a sniper, you need to think a little bit of ahead, and you just can't do that. Give me yet another point. I told you Corvettes are fun to kill. They're so easy to kill, too. So I believe, according to my notes right here, that there is a point here where my shield is used, and it absolutely means nothing. Yes, I remember. So I use my shield, and I start jumping out. He doesn't notice me for the longest of times, but it's already gone. And I'm already being shot at by that frigate that was chasing me, and he pretty much destroyed my health. It just does not last long enough for it to be of any real significance. You can use it, yes, that's totally allowed. It's just, it won't necessarily do you so much good. Also, I have no idea what happened there. I have no idea why my shot did that, but it did. So I'm just going to ignore it. See, this is the kind of situation you want to be in, having the side of a flagship. I have stripped his armor with my first shot, as you do with the sniper. So now, all I have to do is just continuously pump in damage. That was 5,000 damage. 2,500. And that was just charged. That did not have a marked target on it. 5,000 damage. See, this is what was going on about that DPS for the sniper. You just get all these wonderful circumstances that you don't read about in the soft stats on the ship. You don't know that your first shot usually strips the armor away. You don't know that after that your subsequent shots are going to do at least twice as much damage as they usually do. You don't know that at close range the long range cannon is absolutely shite. Like, more so than what they actually tell you. It does say long range you're going to have problems, but it doesn't tell you just how bad it is. So, yeah. In a really good match against a whole bunch of flagships and stuff, just trying to figure out which to shoot first is actually your main problem. So, started moving over to the other team, finally got a shot on a frigate at close range for once in my life. Mainly luck, and as you can see, they like to charge at you because you do a lot of damage. However, we won anyways, so it doesn't really matter. See, now, if the frigate had continued, he actually would have just zipped right by me, and once he's behind me, he literally can do whatever he wants. I will not be able to retaliate in the slightest. Also, in case you were wondering, no, I did not throw up my shield at the end there, because why would I? It's absolutely useless. So, that is the USR Sniper, one of my favorite ships. It cannot take a hit, and it has such an amazing DPS that it allows you to make yourself the most crucial, yet also the most annoying to the enemy team. Ship, countering, not really much you can do. You're kind of usually in the opening, and you can't leave openings or else you're going to be shot at. So, as to counter, just get close to it. That's about it. That's all you can do. Other than that, get an assassin. You're invisible. He can't see you. So, yeah. Thank you for watching. I hope to shoot you soon. See you next time.